Welcome to today's reading of Chapter 16, The Midnight Howl by Claire Hutton and published by Scholastic. Welcome to Chapter 16. The next morning, it seemed unusually bright. I groaned and rubbed my eyes. It's so early, I moaned. I don't know what time it is, but I can tell it's very early and cold, and very, very cold. When I sat on top, my top half came out of my cozy, puffy sleeping bag, and it was like I had walked into a giant freezer. Up and at 'em, Lily said cheerfully. It's a beautiful day. She was already fully dressed and brushing her hair. Bonnie grunted, snuggling deeper into her bag. Lily went on. I've got something to tempt you out of bed. She rummaged in her backpack and pulled out a map. Today, we're going hiking. If you think the promise of hard physical activity is going to get me leaping out of this sleeping bag, you clearly don't know me as well as you think you do, Bonnie said dryly. Lily rolled her eyes and spread them out on the top of her sleeping bag. Look, there's a whole bunch of trails near us. The guidebook says the best trails for groups are probably the Running Eagle Falls, which is an easy hike, or to Scenic Point, which is a little more challenging. Haley said, kneeling next to Lily. What do you think, Marisol? I wiggled out of my sleeping bag and winced once the cold air hit the rest of my body. I had slept in my cozy old sweats, but I was still freezing. I didn't want to think about how cold I would have been in pajamas. I leaned across the tent to look at Lily's map. The Scenic Point Trail clearly involves some more serious uphill hiking, and from the name probably led to a pretty amazing view. I like waterfall. The Running Eagle Falls trail was a lot shorter. I like waterfalls, but I also like hiking, so why not the longer trail? I was about to say so when I noticed that Running Eagle Falls trail crossed several winding blue lines. Water. Running water. I looked at Haley. She could probably choose the same hike I did. Silver hadn't bothered her, but that wasn't a real superstition about werewolves, except for the silver bullets. And I wasn't going to shoot her. If she could run across water, would that prove anything? Not entirely. Something as vague as what Anderson had said. Some cultures say werewolves can't cross running water. Wasn't going to make me stop wondering about Haley. But if she couldn't cross the water, or if she made an excuse not to cross it, then that would be more evidence that she was a werewolf. The experiment was definitely worth a try. I think I'll go to Running Eagle Falls, I said, looking straight at Haley. Okay, me too, she said. Lily frowned. Shoot, I thought you two would come on the harder trail with me. Bonnie? Are you kidding me? Said Bonnie. It's either the easy trail or I'm staying at this campground and painting my nails. Fine then, said Lily. I bet Amber and Becca will come with me. Bonnie laughed. Amber will want to jog it. After breakfast, Amber and Becca did decide to hike to Scenic Point with Lily, along with a few other kids and one of the chaperones. Some of the kids chose to do part of a longer trail, and Jack Anderson and a bunch of other kids, Mr. Samuels, and one of the chaperones came with us on the trek to Running Eagle Falls. Good, I thought. I can see if Jack can cross running water too. I had warmed up during breakfast, but it was a beautiful day. The air was clear and fresh. The snow high on the mountain peaks and the scent of pine trees around us reminded me of Christmas. I had realized that Christmas came in a couple of months, and that I'd be going back to Austin. For the first time, I actually felt sad about leaving my friends here and going home. Look, Jack pointed up at the sky. Overhead, a huge bird circling, looking for prey. Is it a hawk? I said uncertainly. A golden eagle, he said. There are almost 300 species of birds in this park, and October is still a pretty good time to see them. And animals, Haley said. Look, there are fox tracks on this side of the trail, and if you watch the mountains, you might see goats. I scanned the peaks, hoping to see a mountain goat climbing, but didn't see anything. Above us, I could hear squirrels scowling into the trees. Haley touched my arm and pointed. and I saw a huge white hare hop lazily away from the trail, avoiding us, but not seeming particularly scared. I hear rushing water ahead of us, and as we rounded a bend in the trail, saw a rustic wooden bridge crossing a river. Running water. I hung back a little to watch Haley cross it. Jack strode on ahead of us, but Haley hesitated. "What's up?" she said. "Did you want to take a picture?" "Oh, yeah," I said. I had forgotten about my camera, but fished it out of my jacket pocket and snapped a picture of the bridge and the mountain rising behind it. Haley stayed standing next to me. I looked at her out of the corner of my eye, trying to tell if she was steeling herself to cross the bridge. "Are you coming?" she said, a little impatiently. "Sure," I said, and started walking, trying to be subtle about watching her. As we walked over the bridge, nothing happened until we were almost across. Then Haley's foot skidded, and she fell backwards. "Haley," I said, "are you okay?" She was just sitting there. I looked up the path to see if anyone was coming back, but no one had noticed. "Haley," I said again. She pulled herself up, laughing. "What a klutz," she said. "The wood is wet here." "You're not hurt?" I asked, and she shook her head. We walked on over the bridge, my mind buzzing. Had she fallen because of the running water, or had she just slipped? She'd gone over the bridge, but was that even what crossing water really meant? Maybe she couldn't walk through a stream, and crossing a bridge was hard but not impossible. Gosh, I was driving myself crazy. It wasn't even like not being able to cross water was a definite thing. I sighed. We rounded a bend in the trail, and there were the falls. They were amazing, coming from high among the rocks. It was, I saw, actually 2 falls. A narrow trickle coming down to meet a larger spume of water. In the summer, when the water levels are higher, the top falls are stronger and hide the lower falls, Haley told me. Some people like to call it trick falls instead of running eagle falls. Trick falls. I thought about the waterfall and how it concealed all summer beneath the stronger fall. And, how you could see it without realizing there was another level underneath. Was Haley that way too? Was the girl who shared her house with me, who rode horses and teased her brother, the real Haley, but with another hidden level underneath? Did the full moon reveal Haley's second level the same way winter revealed the hidden waterfall? I glanced over at Haley, quietly looking up at the falls. I wasn't sure if I could ever find out the truth about my new friend.